The weekend is here. You know what that means. It's another edition of the best wrestling show of the week. Yeah. What's up, guys? I'm Travis Fowler, Hark Rider, and I am here to talk about the best wrestling show of this week. It's been a great couple months for professional wrestling, and we're continuing on with that momentum train. And this week, honestly, I don't think there was any real show that was, I guess, a standout, if you want to call it that. There were some good things going on every show, but there was one that was better than just about any of them that I can imagine. We're going to start off with Raw, because Raw was actually pretty cool with some moments there. I still love this tag team between Owens and Rollins. I love the stunner and stomp combo, and them opening the show with Alpha Academy and picking up the win really makes me throw into question what exactly is going to happen with the triple threat tag title match coming into Raw. Thought it was great stuff there. Obviously, we saw a new United States Champion crown with Finn Balor taking on Damian Priest and walking out with the W. I think that match is going to be remade again for WrestleMania with the U.S. title on the line. The women's division having a great 6-women tag match. Becky Lynch, of course, had the scars to prove it with Bianca Belair's hair whip, and it was actually just overall a really good match and showing for every woman involved. I think their feud has been the best feud since it goes all the way back to SummerSlam, like I've said before. So I think their match is going to be one of the show stealers going into WrestleMania weekend. And then, of course, the highlight of Monday Night Raw was Edge has officially got a WrestleMania opponent with AJ Styles. He also turned heel in his attack on AJ, giving him not one, but 2 concertos. I think this could be a pretty good feud with the few weeks that they have to build up to it, because overall, the match with Edge and Styles, I think, is going to be the show stealer for Mania weekend. Then we move into Wednesday with AEW's Dynamite, and again, anything of a real standout except for a few moments here and there. Of course, the biggest moment of them all was Tony Khan's opening announcement of Ring of Honor purchase. That's right, the CEO, TK, Tony Khan himself, is now the proud owner of ROH. I can't wait to see what he does moving forward with the brand. I believe there's only good things to come for Ring of Honor. But aside from that Battle Royal tag match, which was pretty lackluster and predictable to begin with the Bucks, as well as a tag team match involving Britt Baker and one of her hench people against Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez, Jamie Hayter just isn't one of those characters that sticks out for me, and this match was just kind of there. We saw the promo work after the match between Danielson and Moxley, and that was that was actually precursor to Daniels and Bryan having a real good showing. It's a Ring of Honor tribute that started off the show, and it just builds hype and anticipation. It's just a good way for Danielson to get some heat by attacking Daniels after the matchup, building towards Mox and Danielson for Revolution. And of course, we saw the main event, which was the trios match between what is still referred to in some people's eyes as the Undisputed Era of Red Dragon and Adam Cole against Adam Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order. Again, this match was just kind of there. It didn't really do anything for me in regards to building up an anticipation for that title matchup. But what did build my anticipation was the promo between MJF and CM Punk. Very good promo, very bloody promo as it would turn out. And I think it was a great way to send in the match for this dog collar matchup on Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view. This is just going to be a fight, a down-home gritty fight, and it's probably the most anticipated match on the card. Then we move into Impact Wrestling that once again didn't have much of a standout. You had the Honor No More storyline continuing. Eddie Edwards got himself DQ'd in the opening match with a kendo stick shot, which then led into the other match of Vincent taking on Heath, and that was a really good match to start. Heath got some good momentum going into his title match with Moose, and then even got a mock pinfall over Moose. Good way to tell a great story. Aside from that, the only standout in Impact this week was the main event, which was a 8-man tag that involved the Bullet Club taking on Violent by Design and the GOD, which on paper was like, okay, I'm kind of already excited as it was. The match started off with a melee that couldn't be separated at first. So then it was Scott D'Amore who came out and said, you know, I made a mistake. We can't just have this be a simple match. It is now no disqualifications, and man, oh man, was it wild. Great way to end the show. Great main event from Impact Wrestling, and honestly, it was probably the best main event of the entire week. Then we move into SmackDown, where SmackDown actually had a pretty loaded card, and it had what I felt in the beginning almost like an Attitude Era build for the entire show, because we didn't start off with a promo this week like we've been used to. It went right into a match. Now, I know that you can argue that they had all those little mini promos to start the show, but that was just to build anticipation and hype, so I don't really count that. Ricochet picking up the win and the Intercontinental title over Sami Zayn was a very good thing, and of course that also leads to Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville of all people at WrestleMania. Okay, cool, I guess, that is what it is. And we saw a couple other things take place on SmackDown. The New Day taking on Sheamus and Ridge Holland, which that match was originally supposed to be Big E versus Sheamus, and then that match didn't even happen. It just was more of an angle to set up for what I think the tag match will be at Mania, but they've announced it for next week's SmackDown. I just don't think that they're going to let that match go fully through. Something's going to happen that saves that matchup for the Mania card. We also saw the Usos take on the Viking Raiders for the tag titles. That was a real decent matchup. I honestly thought they'd save this for Mania as well, but they didn't. And the Usos picked up the clean win to retain their titles and continue their longest reigning SmackDown Tag Champions to date. Then we had the main event, which was Sonya Deville taking on the returning and first time ever in a match, Ronda Rousey. We saw Rousey, and it was a decent I mean, I'm just not that excited for Rousey, and it's disappointing to say. I said it last week. I continue on that momentum train. Rousey is just not the same aura that she was the first time going in. It was an okay match for what it was. It, of course, is just looking to further the angle with her and Charlotte, and Rousey picked up the win. No surprise there. But what was shocking is that they gave Rousey a mock tap out over Charlotte at the end of the show. I was actually kind of surprised that that took place. Also forgot to mention, we had the announcement of Pat McAfee and his opponent at WrestleMania, which is Austin Theory. I know I should have talked about that maybe just a little bit sooner, but I had forgotten and it just came to my mind, so we had to throw that in there. So, with all that said, like I said at the beginning, there wasn't really like a big standout for any show that was put out this week, but overall, for build, hype, and overall presentation, I have to give the first victory to WWE, and it goes to SmackDown. SmackDown had a big feel for it all night, and I can't take that away from WWE, and I can't help but give them their first win of the best wrestling show of the week. SmackDown took the W in this week's edition. Well, that was my pick for what was the best wrestling show of the week. Do you think SmackDown deserved it this week? If not, who do you think did? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and make sure you like the video as well. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that bell so that you're notified when there's a video uploaded to the channel. As always, I'm Travis Fowler, Hark Rider, and I will see you guys again next week.